I was having dinner at my daughter's house, laughing with my grandkids. When my phone rang, my neighbor's trembling voice whispered, "Michael, there's someone inside your house." Asterisk, I saw them moving in your bedroom. My heart stopped. I was miles away, yet someone was walking through the very rooms I thought were safe. Minutes later, the police found a hidden sleeping bag, food wrappers, and a notebook filled with chilling notes about my life, every routine, every habit, every secret. And on the last page, 5 terrifying words were written. "I'll see you very soon." Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and leave your comments. Asterisk, my name is Michael Turner, a 57-year-old retired construction supervisor. I live in a quiet suburban neighborhood in Dallas, Texas. My wife, Caroline, passed away a few years ago after a long battle with cancer. And since then, my modest 2-story home has been both my comfort and my prison. I lived alone. My neighbors were friendly enough, the Wilsons on my left, and a younger couple, the Harrisons, on my right. The kind of place where everyone waved hello, but no one really knew what was going on behind closed doors. It was early spring, when my daughter, Emily, invited me to stay at her house for the weekend. She lived about 45 minutes away in Fort Worth with her husband, James, and their 2 children. Emily had been worried about me ever since her mother passed. Asterisk, Dad. She'd said on the phone, "You'd spend too much time alone. Just come stay with us for a few days." Asterisk, the kids missed you. I didn't argue. Truth be told, I was lonely. And the chance to see my grandkids was enough to convince me. That Friday evening, we sat down to dinner together. The smell of roast chicken filled the air, and laughter bounced off the walls. Asterisk, my grandchildren, Sophie and Ethan, were arguing over who got the biggest piece of cornbread, while James kept pouring me glass after glass of iced tea. For a few hours, life felt normal again. The grief, the silence of my own home, the empty bed at night, it all faded as I sat there surrounded by family. And then, my phone buzzed. At first I thought it might be some spam call, but when I looked down, I saw the name that made my stomach drop. Neighbor Wilson. Michael. His voice was shaky, urgent. "I don't want to alarm you, but I just saw someone inside your house." I nearly dropped the phone. "What do you mean, someone's inside my house? I'm not there." "You know that. I know," Wilson whispered. Asterisk, but I saw movement in your upstairs bedroom. A shadow. The lights flickered on for a second, then went off again, and I swear, I heard a door shut. "Are you sure no one else has keys?" My heart pounded in my chest. The only spare keys I'd given were to Emily, and she hadn't been near my house in weeks. "Call the police," I snapped. "Now, don't go in. Just keep watching." Wilson hesitated. "I'll stay on my porch, but you better get here fast." I hung up and stared at my daughter across the dinner table. My face must have gone pale because Emily immediately asked, "Dad, what happened?" I swallowed hard. "Someone's in my house." Asterisk, James grabbed his keys before I could even think. "Let's go. I'll drive." Emily wanted to come too, but I told her to stay with the kids. The last thing I wanted was for them to see something traumatic. The drive from Fort Worth to Dallas that night felt like the longest 45 minutes of my life. My hands trembled as I dialed Wilson back, asking if he still saw anything. His voice was tense. The lights upstairs just flickered again. "Michael, whoever it is, they're still in there." The police hadn't arrived yet. My mind raced with possibilities. A burglar, a homeless squatter. But why my house? And how did they get in without breaking the locks or windows? James tried to calm me down. "It's probably nothing, Mike. Maybe Wilson saw a reflection, or some electrical problem with the lights." But deep inside, I knew Wilson wasn't the type to imagine things. When we finally pulled up, my heart nearly stopped. The front porch light was on, something I knew I had turned off before leaving. Wilson stood across the street, waving his arms frantically. Asterisk, I saw someone at the upstairs window, just 2 minutes ago. James parked a car and told me to stay put. "The cops are almost here. Don't do anything stupid." But I couldn't just sit there. This was my home, my sanctuary, the place filled with memories of Caroline. Asterisk, I stepped out of the car, every nerve in my body on fire. That's when I noticed it. The curtains in the living room were slightly drawn back, just enough for someone inside to peek out. And I swear, for the briefest second, I saw a figure standing there, watching us. Red and blue lights finally flooded the street. 2 patrol cars pulled up, and 3 officers jumped out, hands already resting on their holsters. "Sir, we got a call about an intruder," one of them said. "Stay back while we check the premises." They surrounded the house, flashlights cutting through the night. James held me by the shoulder, trying to keep me from rushing in. Minutes felt like hours, as the officers cleared each room. I stood there, praying they'd find nothing, that this was all some big misunderstanding. But then, one officer's voice came crackling through the radio. "Second floor. The bedroom window was open. Looked like signs of occupancy." My stomach twisted. Someone had been there. The officers came out 10 minutes later. Their expressions grim. "Sir," one said carefully, "there's no one inside now, but someone was living here. We found a sleeping bag tucked inside your late wife's sewing room, along with some food wrappers and water bottles. Whoever it was, they've been here for at least a week." I felt the blood drain from my face. A week. I'd been home every single day before going to Emily's. How could someone have been hiding there without me noticing? The officer continued. "It looks like they slipped out the back door before we arrived. No signs of forced entry. They must have had a key." A key? I froze. The only keys I'd ever given out were to Emily and to one other person. Years ago, my old neighbor, Derek Collins. Derek had lived across the street for nearly 15 years. We used to be good friends, but things soured after Caroline died. He borrowed money from me, promised to pay it back, and never did. Eventually, we stopped speaking. He moved out of the neighborhood 2 years ago after losing his job. But now, why did I suddenly feel like Derek wasn't as far away as I thought? James noticed the look on my face. "Mike, what is it?" I didn't answer. My mind was racing too fast. If Derek still had a key, he could have slipped in any time. And if he'd been inside my home for days, watching me, studying my routine, the thought made my skin crawl. The police asked me to walk through the house with them. My chest tightened as I stepped inside. The familiar scent of home now tainted by something foul: sweat, stale food, and cigarette smoke. In the sewing room, I saw it. The sleeping bag, the half-eaten sandwich, and next to it, a small notebook. The officer handed it to me carefully. "We'll bag this as evidence, but take a look." I opened it. My blood ran cold. Inside were pages, and pages of notes about me. He leaves at 7:45. Every morning for groceries. Lights out by 11 p.m. Keeps spare cash in kitchen drawer. Emily visits once a week. Brings kids. My hands shook so badly, I almost dropped it. Someone had been studying me. And on the very last page, written in messy scrawl, were 5 words that nearly made my knees buckle. "I'll see you very soon. Asterisk." The words in that notebook haunted me. "I'll see you very soon." I couldn't sleep that night, even with James and Emily insisting I stay at their place for safety. I felt the weight of my house pressing down on me like a shadow. Someone had been in my sanctuary, studying me, knowing when I came and went. And deep down, I knew who it had to be: Derek Collins. The next morning, I went back to the house with the police detectives. They dusted for prints, collected the notebook, and bagged the food wrappers. One of them, Detective Harris, looked me dead in the eye. "Detective Harris, Mr. Turner, whoever this is, they weren't just squatting. This feels personal. Whoever wrote this was obsessed with you." Obsessed. The word sent a chill through me. Over the next few days, things only got stranger. One night, while I was locking the front door, I noticed a cigarette but still smoldering on the porch. I didn't smoke. Another morning, I found muddy footprints by the back fence. Too fresh to be from days before. It was clear, whoever had been inside wasn't finished. James suggested installing cameras, so we did. For on the outside, to inside, at least I'd be able to see if anyone tried coming back. But the cameras brought more fear than comfort. On the third night, I checked the footage before bed and froze at exactly 2:13 a.m. A figure appeared at the edge of the yard. The person stood there, motionless, for almost 10 minutes, just watching my house. And even though the image was grainy, I could swear I recognized the stance. The way the man carried himself, it was Derek. The next day, I drove across town to the last known address I had for Derek. A rundown apartment complex in South Dallas. I knocked on his door, heart hammering. After a long silence, the door creaked open, and there he was, thinner, older, but definitely Derek. Me. "You've been in my house." Derek smirking. "Why would I want to step foot in that place again?" Asterisk, "You always were paranoid, Mike." But his eyes gave him away. He was enjoying this, my fear, my desperation. Me. "You still have a key. Hand it over." Derek. "If I did, maybe I'd keep it. You owe me. Remember? You think I forgot?" He slammed the door in my face before I could say another word. I drove home shaking, my knuckles white on the steering wheel. That night, it happened again. Around midnight, I heard a noise downstairs, a soft creak, like the sound of a door opening. Asterisk, my heart thundered. I grabbed the baseball bat from my closet and crept down the stairs. The living room was dark, but I could feel it. The presence. Someone was there. Suddenly, the back door slammed shut. I rushed forward, but by the time I got outside, the yard was empty. When the police arrived, they confirmed that the lock had been tampered with. Someone had forced their way in. Detective Harris pulled me aside. Detective Harris, Mike, this isn't just trespassing anymore. Whoever this is, they're escalating. They want you to know they can get in whenever they want. The next morning, I found an envelope on my porch. No stamp, no address, just my name. Scrawled in the same handwriting from the notebook. Inside, a single sheet of paper. You took everything from me. Now I'll take everything from you. Soon, you won't feel safe anywhere. My hands trembled as I read it. I knew then this wasn't just Derek wanting money. This was revenge. But revenge for what? Uncovering the truth, digging into the past. I remembered something I'd buried long ago. Years back, Caroline had confided in me that Derek, drunk one night, had tried to make advances toward her when I wasn't home. She never told anyone else. And she begged me not to confront him, fearing it would cause chaos in the neighborhood. I kept my distance after that, but Derek must have carried the grudge. Maybe he thought I ruined his life when people started cutting ties with him. Maybe in his twisted mind, I was the enemy. And now he was back to finish what he started. I decided enough was enough. With the police's help, we set up a trap. Cameras were placed inside the sewing room again. Motion sensors armed, and officers waiting nearby. That night, just past 1 a.m., the motion alarm triggered. My phone buzzed, and I opened the live feed. There he was, Derek standing in the sewing room, rifling through Caroline's old belongings, muttering to himself. The police stormed the house within minutes. Derek tried to run, but they caught him in the backyard. When they dragged him out, his face was twisted with rage. Derek, this isn't over. Mike, you ruined me. I'll never stop. Derek was arrested and charged with breaking and entering, stalking, and harassment. The evidence, the notebook, the letters, the video footage was overwhelming. But even with him behind bars, I couldn't shake the fear. Every creak of the house at night, every shadow outside the window, it made my heart race. Emily begged me to move in with her permanently. But I couldn't leave my home. This was the house Caroline and I built a life in. I wouldn't let Derek take that from me. Still, the words from his notebook haunted me. I'll see you very soon. Months later, I was beginning to feel normal again. Life settled into routine. Until one evening, I came home to find something on my porch. A cigarette butt, freshly smoked, and next to it another envelope. Inside, a single photo. It was me, sitting at Emily's dinner table, laughing with my grandchildren. Taken from outside the window. If you liked my story, please like the video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with as many people as possible. Thanks for watching.